Hello, everybody. Right, let me just sort myself out. 1 minute. Right, let's get this party started. Okay, so today I am working on page 7 of my comic, and this is one where I'm taking the traditionally drawn version and redrawing it digitally and then colouring it. That's kind of the mission for today. Thank you, Kim. Right, so I wanted to nick some of the colours from here. Now with Clip Studio Art, when you're not working on a panel, it blues it out. So you can see this is suddenly like gone dark blue, which makes it a little tricky to colour swatch it when it's being like that. Check I've got the right layer. No, I don't. It's alright, we can sort that out. So I'm just going to, and before you cry, Sarah, you're not coloured in the lines. It's fine. I'm kind of doing the lazy person approach, which is using the paint bucket. Just to kind of make it nice and easy. And then I need to go back to the first panel and steal that beautiful blue sofa colour from there. So at the moment everything's going to look a little bit flat and sad colour and lighting wise, because I haven't started adding all of the details onto this, and also I'm essentially flatting the comic before I add all the shading and the pretty other colours, and it's just so I can get a feel for atmosphere of the room, and just kind of make sure I'm happy with the composition before I start to kind of get into the nitty gritty. So I'm going to copy a little bit between these panels because I want to steal Bella's hair colour. Yeah, I think I've got the right panel. Ooh, no, oh no, oh, wrong. Always forget to flick back. So essentially it is just dumping in the basic colours that I want to use. Now I have a habit of doing 1 bajillion layers. May or may not be an exaggeration for all of my colours, but I'm trying to get in the habit of just having 1 layer for the true background colours and another layer for everything that kind of goes on top. So I'm sure there is a more sensible way of doing this where you kind of create swatches and whatnot, but that's not what I'm doing today. To zoom back. Ooh. It's funny when you zoom in, you suddenly see all the places where you missed when you were doing the colours. That's okay, and I can sort that out in post-production. Or just now, actually. Very neatly, but okay. So just adjust. I'm not going to get too stressed about shading. I am, however, where I have them completely out the lines, I think we will sort that out. Okay, hop back to the first frame to steal some more colours. Now where I am doing things like black t-shirts and stuff, I am not going to use actual black. One, so that there's maybe just a wee hinty at where have we gone? There you are. At the line work. If I kind of go for actual black, the line work is kind of pointless. And also, I was always taught by my art teachers that there's no such thing as actual black. Now, for line work, I've disagreed with that. But for actual colours on t-shirts and stuff, I will try and put a little hint of blue or grey or something just to give it a little bit more depth. But if this were a black and white comic, yes, I would be making these actual black. There we go. See, I'm correcting all the places where I didn't quite draw in the lines. Try a little bit careful around the hair. I think I'm going to have to go over the hair again, to be honest. That's okay. That. Now with Laura's t-shirt, so this is Laura, it's actually got, in fact the t-shirt that I'm wearing today, it's an Esoterica t-shirt. Ooh, go Esoterica. And it would have, like, you would see a little bit of the, in fact I think she's actually not wearing, she might be wearing an older Esoterica t-shirt where it's got sort of a white bar with black text on it, actually on the t-shirt, and I do need to draw that in. I'm classing that as colour details, so I'm not going to do it at this stage. Again, I'm just going to block in the colours to give myself sort of an idea of how things look before I get too bogged down in all of that. Right, again, hop back to that first frame for a bit of colour stealing. Just got some nice, again it looks grey, but it's actually got a teeny tiny hint of sort of mauve in there. Again, just to give it a little hint of colour. And ooh, the line work on that leg is not particularly good, so I will sort that out, I think, in a minute once I've got these colours blobbed in. Now, I thought I'd given everybody a slightly different skin colour, but the more I draw, the less convinced I am that I did. But anywho, just in case, let's grab a bit of skin tone from here, because this is going to be Matt's hand on her shoulder. And it should now be sort of, it looked a bit crazy when I first drew the background colours on, but hopefully now it's looking a little less mad. Just a smidge of it less mad. Tidy up some of this line work, but for now it's doing what I need it to do. Right, now most bags of frozen peas I've ever seen, because that's the next bit I'm going to have to do a sort of a greeny green colour. I've decided that this establishment is a place that serves food, so if somebody gets plonked on the head with a bottle, it will be a bag of frozen peas that they are handed rather than a bag of ice or something. As someone with a small-ish child, that's always my go-to when there's a bump on the noggin. Get the frozen peas out. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. And I think, yeah, this last frame, I haven't done the line work properly at all. I need to go back and revisit it, but I think most of the other frames were sort of getting there. So I think I'm going to carry on blobbing the colours in, particularly the purple, just to get the atmosphere going in these other frames. And this is why I love Clip Studio, because it allows you to sort of drop this I don't know what you call it, like a top layer that kind of puts everything into the panel, so that, like, for example, if I use my paint bucket, if I do that, it's only going to fill that one panel rather than the whole sheet. Kind of, that's all it controls. But glad I did that, because that shows that I've not put a colour layer in, which is very silly. Okay, and actually I can probably do that for all of these ones, because just looking where Tobias is sat, you would just see the wall behind him. I don't think you'd see the floor, because you can't see his little bottom. wee bottom on the floor, and the same for Will where he is. There will be posters and stuff all over the wall here, but again, I'll come back later and add that detail. So let's get a colour layer in there. Yeah, that one's going to be a bit more thing, but I want to clean up the line work on that bottom one first, just to make sure I know exactly where I'm putting all the colours. Is it very dark in here? Do I need to... Oh, I made it bright. Oh, and now it's shining on my thing. No, I don't want that. Let's... see, I've got this very fancy daylight lamp thing. And it's very good, but I haven't quite... No. Oh, that's maybe a... I don't know. That may have made things better. It may have made things worse. Apologies if it's made things worse. What I don't want is it shining on my screen because then I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. I'll get myself comfy, get some Diet Coke in me because it's a Saturday and therefore I can have afternoon caffeine. So during the week when I work, I can't drink coffee or Diet Coke after. Well, actually, no, we'd still be in the okay time, but because I have trouble getting to sleep, caffeine is not my friend in the afternoons. Oh, it's so good. Yum, 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 yum. Right. Put that there. Okay, right, I think then. So one of these pages should be where I've got everybody's skin colours that I can then use to drop in here. But am I on the right layer? Survey says no. Okay. This one's bigger. Because I'm lazy. I just want to get the colour dumped on. Yeah, the line work on this frame also needs some work, but because I am both the I'm the inker, the penciler, the flatter, and the colourist, and the letterist. I have the luxury of doing this in whatever order I like. So if once I've popped the colour in, I'm like, actually, some of this line work needs sorting out, and this definitely does because Cloud's got a full-on beard throughout this comic. So I need to go back and sort this out. Okay. I think it's wearing a sort of, again, it's supposed to look black, but it's not quite black hat. Which hopefully, yeah, that should be consistent with what's where he's sat. Ooh, and actually that's a point. I think when I first drew this he was stood up, but now he's actually sat in that brown chair. So I don't think I am going to get away with just purple behind him. I think I need to pop the chair back in. Okay, we can sort that out. Right, let's go and seal the brown from the brown chair. Which I went for a nice reddy brown, nice rich leather. That's going to be about there. And there's obviously no line work because I think when I originally drew this frame he wasn't sat in a nice leather chair. I don't know why I'm being delicate because this is on a layer behind everything. So let's get that paint bucket out actually. Ooh, did I leave any gaps? Oh no, I made it angry. Oh dear, no. Oh no, come on Clip Studio. I'm sorry, I don't know how I did that, but don't do that. Sneaky. Let's undo that. This is where the paint bucket tool sometimes is not my friend. Must have been a gap in the colouring somewhere, but that's okay. We can fix all of these things. Sounds like hubby may have just... Tom? 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 Maybe it's a cat doing the washing up. I don't know. Thought I heard a hubby doing some washing up, but apparently not. Okay. Let's go back to this frame and steal some t-shirt colours. Yeah, and it might be a bit clearer here that I've not quite gone for totally black. To do the whole paint bucket again, I think, after the accidental browning of this frame. Okay. And this one, I want this to be really detailed, but yeah, it needs some work, I think is the polite term. Right, let's hop onto this one. This is another frame where I can do lots of gorgeous detail. Too many layers in now. Yes, I have. I don't know what it is that I keep clicking that makes this thing rotate, but it's very irritating. Sneaky. Oh, my fish tank's light is on the blink. So lightning. No, just aggressive fish tank. Okay. Make a nice sea shanty whilst I'm drawing. This feels very sea shanty-ish. Again, I'd like to keep in the line. Oh, no. Well, I'd like to, but that's not what I've done. But I'm not too worried if I go over this bit because I'll colour that separately anyway. I have made a bit of a meal of staying in the lines, which is a bit annoying, but hey ho. That's what the eraser tool is for. And why the absolute background I always do on another layer, because I just can't help myself. I just can't quite do it. Can't quite stay in the lines. A little bit coming down as well. I have a feeling. Okay. So that was the original traditional artwork. So how I started drawing this comic was traditionally. I took photos of each frame and kind of dropped it in. So to kind of that's my original sort of line work that's kind of dotted in behind. And sort of one of the reasons I'm kind of having to redraw stuff is that I sort of lost a bit of the traditional art detail when I took the photo. But also, when I've then just done the line work on top, I think in some areas it's sort of missing a little bit of je ne sais quoi. So I want to sort that out too. I think most of that I can sort. Ooh, see, I've missed a bit of line right there. That's not very good. Let's sort that out. The whole line work area just doesn't quite sit right to me. Let's do a bit of jiggery pokery, shall we? Whenever someone's wearing a t-shirt or something, you know, it's essentially a tube. was going to correct most of that afterwards, but I decided not today. Let's go back in again. Still skin colour. This is a very lazy person's approach. I will go and get a small brush in a minute. This is a really awkward face angle to draw. I think it looks pretty good. I was quite pleased with myself when I successfully managed to draw it. It's very easy to get these sorts of face angles, so they just look a little bit weird. And what I will do is when I finished flattening it all, I'll use the old artist trick of flipping the whole thing horizontally so I get like a fresh perspective at it, which is really helpful. Oh dear, no, out the lines again. I don't know whether I'm feeling brave enough to use the paint bucket. I think probably not. I can't wait to kind of add all the shading and stuff in, because I always think it looks a bit odd when it's all just flat colours. More like a diagram from a textbook than a cool bit of artwork. Again, patience is a virtue. I do have to say some of these pictures are drawn from references of the actual band in backstage areas or what have you. We have a very talented chap called Jake 10. If you look up Jake 10 photography, his photographs are very, very good. He does a lot of work with bands and cool people and cigar smoking people as of late. So yeah, if you get the chance, look him up on Instagram, or I think he's on Facebook as well with his photography. And you might spot some photographs that look vaguely familiar from some of my panels in this comic, but all used with his permission. I will say I did ask before I did it, and in fact I am going to try, well, it's hinted at in this comic, but he will probably feature in future comics, in future issues of this, but you know, one step at a time. Just got to get issue 1 finished, then I'll start to worry about issues 2, 3 and 4, because I think the sort of the initial story in this universe will be about 4 issues long. I've written issues 1 and most of issue 2, in fact possibly all of issue 2, but I'm definitely still just plodding through the artwork of issue 1. I don't know, I tidied it up and then messed with it again. Yeah, getting there. Slowly but surely. Back to my little colour palette, and I think I'm pushing something on my pen accidentally when I'm making it tilt like that. And suddenly it just pops back in. It's very strange. One thing I haven't really done in the line work on this particular frame is Tobias's. He's got a very fancy pants tattoo on his arm, sort of an Aztec looking thing. Missed a bit of hammer. I will want to kind of add that detail in a wee while. lines, it's gonna look all blurry, so. It's funny how. Ooh, ooh, no, ooh, ah! I don't want any of that. Draw button. Just want to make my brush a little bit smaller, just to make it easier to work in and around all of this. Ooh, another sea shanty. Sounds like a sea shanty sung by farmers from Somerset, my home county, and I like it. Let's grab his trouser colour. Again, looks black. Oh no, that's Luke's hair colour. Looks black, but it's not actually quite black. I could probably do with making my brush size a bit bigger again, just for speed. This is so much easier than doing it traditionally, where you have to kind of. Well, actually, I've got some fairly big fat brush pens that I use to do these sorts of areas after spending a lot of time using fine liners. Oh, I hear creaking. Ah, you're back. I think Holly screamed down. Apparently there's a big fat fly in her bedroom. I'm live, so I have not run to her aid. Plus, if it was a wasp, I'd go up. But the big fat fly did not, so she might need you to go up with the electric tennis racket fly
if you want
killer.
to go shooting.
Ooh. Ooh, I do. Unless it's going to thunder and lightning, then no, I don't. No? Or do you want to go tomorrow while she's at the party? And I'll put off plastering the living room for another week.
What's the weather tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, if you want to go shooting by yourself now, you can, but yes, I would like to go. By shooting, we don't mean like people in the street. We mean go to the woods with our bows and arrows. And you're not going to shoot people in the woods. They charge too much money for that. Hunger Games style. No, they're plastic animals that you can go and shoot down the woods.
With bows and arrows.
With bows and arrows, yeah. Some crazy person armed us. Oh. Are you looking at the weather forecast for tomorrow? Hi everyone, welcome to my living room. Thursday got the lights my shopping list. Today you get the local weather forecast.
BBC weather or Met Office?
Met Office, I think, is a little bit more reliable. Yeah, high winds and thunder and lightning, I'm alright. Oh, beautiful face. Bless you. Yeah, high winds or thunder and lightning, I'm good. Anything else?
22.
What, tomorrow?
With rain on Monday.
Well, that doesn't sound like high winds or thunder, so maybe tomorrow would be better, because then we're not, we're not having to drag the tiny child that doesn't want to go out the house. I assume Mike never came back to you about lessons for her. Might be worth prodding him again.
Looks like it's
So yeah, I'll definitely be up for it tomorrow, and if you want to go and have a shoot, come back and work on our costumes then. So we're making Viking costumes, or Viking-esque costumes. They're not historically accurate, for a festival that we're going to later in the year. And I love my headdress, which actually is now looking a lot more stable. So this is my headdress, which I need to carve more and dry brush. but it's going to sit over my face like that because I have to wear glasses. I can't do contact lenses. I wanted something that would sort of cover my face, so the fact I'm wearing glasses doesn't really matter. I did think about dismembering a pair of my old glasses and actually having it down like that and having old glasses lenses there, but I think, and this isn't going to sit right because I've got my big fat headphone thing on, but yeah, so I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it needs some work. I'm going to use my Dremel, good old Dremel, to smooth out where I've kind of added more of this. This is foam clay, which is really cool stuff, and it's really lightweight, so in the middle of summer when it's very, very wham in the middle of the field, it shouldn't weigh too much. But yeah, so I've got that, and I've got like a feather thing to wear around my shoulders, and I bought some really cool fabric from my local haberdashery that looks like, it's not chainmail, it's definitely a fabric, but it looks kind of from a distance like chainmail, to wear under some foam that we're constructing, more probably for my hubby than for me, but this is just Eva foam with tufts kind of glued to it, but this is for my legs, and I've got some cool stuff to make for my arms, and a belt, and I've got like little, like, oh wow, fluff everywhere, stuff everywhere. What are you doing? Oh, you're, I thought you
arrows. I've only got 5.
You've only got 5 arrows?
Yeah, all the others are broken.
Well, we can pop down to the archery shop on payday for next weekend. I think we're going there next weekend. I am drawing. Oh, you're toy. You need a rubber?
The rubber on the end of my picture.
Let me have a look. Do you want a putty rubber or do you just want a normal rubber?
I don't know.
I've got putty rubber.
I don't care.
You don't care. You'll need to warm it up, I think, before you use it, because it's a bit. Hang on a second.
I just need a rubber to rub.
Hang on. Twist it off.
I'm creating Daisy as a person.
Ah, what with the multicoloured fluff that you bought? No.
I'm drawing it.
Oh my goodness,
And
this is
then
like
I'm gonna-
cheese. It's just stringing everywhere. Hang on.
It's pizza cheese.
Pizza
Is
cheese
there
putty
people
rubber.
watching?
Yes, 2 viewers. Hello, 2 viewers. That's my daughter. That was my daughter. Do you need anything else, Holly, or just a rubber?
I
Just need a rubber. Are you going to draw me a cupcake still? I was promised a cupcake drawing. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I made this little skull thing to go on my belt as well, which is like really freaky looking. Get lost?
My leather belts.
Oh, I've got a big fat one in here that you can borrow, but I don't know whether it will fit in your quiver. Or you can use the one that's on my quiver if you want. Right, let's get back to drawing. I'm sorting out these trousers. It's like colour by numbers, except I draw the lines. And apparently I'm not so good at drawing colour lines. Okay, this makes it a bit smaller. Slow and steady wins the race with once you start getting into this kind of colouring. So, having gone to my first sort of live music event since might even have been since before I had my little girl. I learnt a lot of things, kind of being able to see very slightly into the backstage area, which means the panel beneath, where I'm going to do a lot more detail, I want to switch it up a little bit because it was a lot more chaotic back there than I was expecting, which my understanding is that's not necessarily the total norm, but kind of how instruments kind of came in. I don't know sort of how... I sort of had this image of like drum bits being in sort of giant bags and stuff, and it didn't seem to be quite how it worked. But things like keyboards and stuff, I didn't even consider that they'd probably be in like big metal cases and stuff, because I guess they have to be very well protected when they're in transit. Well, that's it. I need to do the shoes in that one, but again, I'll come back to that panel later. So let's grab some hair colour. Oh, I did go for proper black. Alright, proper black it is. The nice thing about this being proper black is that if I want to add a few extra strands, it doesn't matter, because it will be the same colour as the line work. Isn't it funny what looks good from like afar and then you zoom in, it's like, ugh, missed. Or just that does not look good. I now know from a little lolly sauce that Tobias has got brown eyes. So I can wrap those in. Again, all of these frames need a lot more detail, but let's see what I'm getting there. So I'm hoping that is in this frame. Right. Let's go back a little bit. Not again. T. Let's do that t-shirt colour. Ooh, too far, too close. Bigger, because I'm lazy. Just do my best to stay in the lines. Back up to like the skin colour. Yes, I'm aware people don't have pink eyeballs, but we will be going back to sort out all these little colour details. So I don't know if there's anybody watching this that hasn't watched me sort of draw before. A couple of weeks, possibly even a couple of months ago, I finished the cover art for this comic. And I sort of vowed to myself that the cover art is obviously going to be the most detailed, because, you know, they say don't judge a book by the cover, but that's true for everything except books. I wanted all of the pages, probably not quite the same level of detail, but I wanted them to be, you know, you could tell that the art inside the comic was of a sort of a quality where you don't kind of go, oh, the cover's beautiful, and you open it and go, oh, this is a bit pants. I don't want that. I want people to kind of open it up and go, ooh, like this is well drawn. That's kind of what I'm aiming for anyway. Which I think I'm pretty pleased with what I've done so far. I don't think I'll ever be 100% happy, but I think that's just the life of an artist, really. Nothing will ever be perfect, but it will be finished, and that's the general thing. I'm still doing this thing. I still haven't worked out what I'm leaning on to make it spin. Oh, I've actually used colour. Manageable size. Just gonna bring some of that colour in. I know I shouldn't. Sneaky detail. Okay. Now I just jump up to, so I stuck a layer just over the top of everything so I can start to see how all the frames kind of sit together, and I think you can tell that everything's based in the same room, so that's good. I have achieved that. That makes me happy. Now I think it is time to, and yeah, there is a lot of line work that needs fiddling with in the top frames, but this whole bottom frame is not to Sarah's standard, let's pop it that way. But I do just very sneakily need to pop for a little rest break, so I'll just stick myself and be right back. I will be less than a few minutes, so you can enjoy the music and watch the swirly things that I think are on my Be Right Back screen. And I will be back in a moment. Ooh, swirly things. Yeah. BRB. There we go, I have returned. Oh, and I left my drawing glove in the bathroom. That's right, I've got spares. Let's put these fancy little gloves back on just so I don't get finger juice. Sort of the oils from your hands then don't go on the screen. With these drawing tablets, that's kind of what those gloves are for. think what I'm going to do... Oh, interesting. I see what I've done. Oh, I hear... Tom? Oh, I thought you'd gone. He's still here. I mean, if you can wait maybe an hour, I'll come... We could... I don't know, what do you think? Oh, I kind of want to go and shoot plastic things, but... No, you just go. You go when you're ready. And I will go tomorrow if the weather's not rubbish. Yeah, I can't be bothered to have that fight with Holly. A small person might want to go out in the woods. Right. Okay, let's... I'm going to do my neat trick, which is if there's line work that kind of is right but isn't quite right, I'll fade it and then I'll do better line work over the top. I also want to find some reference pictures of Luke in the band's face. Let's have a wee looky in my photo library. I've just got my phone. I have numerous photos that I have downloaded. Would have been quite some time ago, I think. Lots of steampunky type reference pictures, which is good. Right. Definitely thought I had. Oh dear. I've got some weird photos on this phone. I think sometimes when you download these things they're time stamped and then my phone thinks that they're from like years and years ago. Okay, right. I think we're gonna go with it's an approximation to poor Luke's face. Luke, if you ever watch this, apologies. You're much more handsome than I've drawn you. For all of the band members. Actually, no, but particularly with Luke in this particular one, he has got a beard. Like a full-on beard, not just a crazy goatee either. Phenomenal ears. Love ears like this. do look like a little bit sort of slumped. But can you see? So the eyes are a bit not quite right, but I think I'm going to do my little magic trick of. Oh, no. Don't want to change the canvas size. I want to flip horizontally. It's not. Ooh. What did I just do? I'm angry. It's not too bad. It needs a bit of balancing here, and I think. Again, I've probably not quite got the shoulders right. Draw out a little bit as well. Actually, that's not too far off the look I'm going for. Sometimes all you need is a little one little line to kind of indicate something, and it just looks a little bit more detailed and more wonderful and kind of what you're after. I always have slightly messy scribbly lines, and yes, I want to tidy up a little bit, but I also don't want to lose some of the energy you get from scribbly lines. Safely flip this back. I'm happy that that's not looking too bad. Okay, that bit. Okay, now one of the tools I didn't have when I was first drawing this was these magnificent line tools that kind of mean you can actually draw beautifully straight lines. Delete any that turn out to be sort of not required. There's an element of, there's a sort of vanishing point far off to the perspective line far away. Already you can see where I kind of did this by eye. It wasn't quite straight. Actually, the table leg would probably be not butting up against the. Yeah, that's better. Ooh. That's what I haven't done. And sort of the lines that come down here. Actually, I'll take all of these. Just to help myself draw this jug better, and this chair, I'm just going to pop in sort of lines with the correct angles on them. So that when I'm doing a sketch over them, so know what I'm doing. So that's fair and accurate. Okay. And let's just. Okay, be safe. What I might even do is just add another layer here. was thinking of the perspective on this particular box, but I wasn't thinking, to be fair. Okay, and then there'll probably be more stacks of boxes up against the wall from what I could see at the place I went to. Yeah, lots of cables and probably another box in front of this one. So maybe like here. Just would be a lot of boxes, I think. Just with everybody's bits and bobs stored in. Just pretend I didn't do that one. Okay. Like that. Oh. Let's get rid of some of this. No. No bueno. No thank you. So, that is more what I'm after. Couldn't see the top of that one, inside of that one at all. You kind of get the. I don't think I like the box. Let's have it as a really thin box. Kind of. Just standing upright against that one. I think it'd be better. That'll do. Again, most of these I will now make fairly light. Get rid of all the lines that kind of you wouldn't see because this would be in the way. But I know they're there. Probably the same with all of this. Just get rid of these lines because I don't actually see them. Sensible Sarah would have done this all on a separate layer, but never mind. So this, or this. But now I'm happy that I've got all the angles that I need. some of these crazy signs and stuff. Already, I think that's looking much better. All I need to do with this chip is start to soften the edges a little bit, and maybe give it a slight curve at the back, so it sort of wraps around. Kind of going off to that. There you go. Oh, that's such a good drawing. Is that Daisy as a person? My daughter's drawn our cat as a person, which is really cool. Oh, brilliant. She's only 10. That is very good. I love the details on the t-shirt. Are you going to colour it like Daisy?
It's like my shirt.
Ah, it's really good,
It
Holly.
even has like a little scarf.
She does. That looks really cool. You've done a really good job. Is that what you've been busy doing upstairs? Whilst you're wrapped in your multicoloured cloth blanket? Yeah. It's really good. Really, really good. Well done, chicken. Huh? Your stabby wool is in a box just there. Come this side. Just in that. Can you see? No. Yeah. So you might have to. Don't just pull it out. I'd lift everything off the top and put it on Daddy's desk, and then pull it out. There you go. Might be time to save if Clip Studio is getting a bit grumpy. colours. No, I'm not 100% sure what is planning line and what's real line, but let's take some away. Well, actually, not too bad. And again, I know I need to add some detail on the walls and stuff, but we're sort of getting there. Already I think that line work is much better. So if I put the original stuff up, so yeah, I do need to add like posters on the wall, and I want to put the light bulbs in to make it look like a proper dressing table kind of thing. Thank you, Kim. It's funny, I can see that you've commented on my little chat thing on my thingammy-dingamy, but it's not appeared in my Twitch chat, but thank you so much. Let's soften this chair up a little bit. Okay, and I think, do you know what? I think I'm kind of happy to start flatting this bottom one. I'm going to remove these planning layers now because they are gone. And yeah, ooh. So if we kind of rotate, isn't it funny how the original line work, it was a bottle of wine instead of a jug, but yeah, it's sort of, yeah, I think what I've drawn looks better. So if I kind of, yeah, I'm much happier with that. Right, okay, let's chuck on a colour layer. Let's grab that purple from, I think any of them now I can grab. Let's get this a nice big fat size. Let's chuck that purple on. Going to see this purple through all the bits and bobs, but I think it's always good to kind of have it there to refer back to. Let's jump up to one of these, and I still don't understand why this thing rotates as I scroll down, but obviously done something silly with the settings. Let's get the floor in. The nice thing about this is I've got plenty of space to put speech bubbles, because that's one thing when I'm doing the artwork I often forget I need to stick the speech bubbles in somewhere. Okay, and then again I'm going to hop up to the top middle panel. Let's start steaming some of these colours. Upset if I go too far outside of the line. lines, particularly where I know I'm going to be sticking some more colours on, but curb my enthusiasm slightly around here. So just because glasses are normally, when you're holding a glass of liquid, you can sometimes see things through that liquid, so do that. Right. I was brave. I used the paint bucket. Okay. Yeah, again, I know I've gone outside the lines, but I'm not going to worry too much because there's other colours to be plopped on top. Down to that middle panel again. Oh, I really wish it wasn't rotating like that. Ooh, making me seasick. And let's grab the jumper colour, the t-shirt colour even. Pop this back so it's not drunk anymore. The other thing I might need to think about is adding some more detail in the mirror, because that mirror is reflecting back into the room where people are stood, people are sat, and at the moment the only detail I've really focused on is Luke in the mirror, but when it comes to adding more detail it would be really good to make it clear that that is, you know, sort of, even if it's just really faint detailing of the door and other little bits, get that sort of snuck in there. To bring out the paint pit just yet. That's all the way around here. Ooh, okay, I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. Oh. Nice. Just make sure I haven't missed any little bits. Down to here, grab the hair colour. So I'm not completely unconvinced. Oh no, I have picked one that's slightly darker than the shirt colour, which is good. I actually think that probably needs to come up a little bit higher. Hairline. Come back to that in a minute. Some strands down, I think, onto the face just to make it look less glued on. We don't like it glued on before. I'm trying to think what sort of table would be back there, and would it have like a cloth over it, or would they keep it kind of fairly wipeable? It's quite a gothy kind of think sort of velvety kind of venue, so they've definitely got like velvet cloths over tables, which on some of the later pages I'll make sure that I include that. Not sure. Let's get. I would say I can imagine it being one of those sort of pale brown. I don't know. Actually, do you know what? I reckon they'd probably paint it black just for like, because people that have got like crazy stage makeup and stuff, or it'd be black with lots of like weird little colour splotches all over it. So I'll make it dark grey, I think. And then I'll do that. I'll make it look as if someone's been doing like crazy stage makeup and there's makeup all over it, and like muck everywhere. Do that neat and tidily. So let's just sort of fill in the main colours. Bring that down like that. Zoom in a bit. Just make sure I don't miss anything. See is now zoomed in. Little bits of skin I've missed. It's funny because it's the kind of thing where if this was going out as a webcomic, I know that some of these little gaps in colour nobody would notice. But I think when I know that I'm eventually going to get this all printed as a proper book, I think that is the kind of thing people would notice. That bugs me. And then, trying to think, if you've got like dark purple walls, I think it's going to be like a little mauvey red colour, dark mauvey red for this sort of mirror. I think I'm going to make it a dark wood colour. Bit like that leather chair. Just try and make myself an interior decorator in my brain. Because again, I get the impression that backstage areas don't necessarily have a huge amount of thought put into them, but I like the idea that this particular club, Esoterica, are playing in my fictional world. this club in my fictional world called the Railbird, which is a casino reference because there's various casino type references or gambling sort of references to this comic. I'm going to go even darker for that outer area, which will have light bulbs mounted to it once I've come back in to do some more of the detailing. Because the light bulbs will be, you know, generating a lot of the light into here. I'm gonna use a neat little trick using the what do you call it? Spray can? I'm sure that's not the technical term, but using the spray can tool. Oops. Oh, I got overexcited. Took out the top of Luke's head. That's good. I'm starting to add a bit of substance to this, and we're going to have a dark red chair. I think, did I give him a colour up here? I did not. I didn't get that far. Right, we're going to go for a dark red. Again, I might use the colour to help define the shape of the chair. And just adjust the line right when I get to it. All of the boxes I saw when I was sort of looking at backstage stuff were sort of this quite light grey, like metallic-y silver grey. So I'm just going to use a nice light grey, but when I come back to do the shading and all of that shebang, I will be adding some metallic sheens to this, I think, once I've decided where all my little light sources and stuff are coming from to make it look shiny. Because there's this wonderful glow effect that I can use to make sort of metals look very metally. I'm going to definitely make use of that for these silver boxes, which sort of contain things like mics and instruments and all sorts of stuff. Do you know what I haven't done? I haven't given Luke his brown eyes. So I will come and sort out so he hasn't got skin coloured eyes and all that shebang. But that is definitely something to come back to. Okay, so let's just zoom out and have a look at this whole page using that top layer. Yeah, I think you can kind of I'm just trying to think. So if that in his mirror image, he's going to be seeing I wouldn't normally, but I'm going to do this with a very thin thing and on a separate layer, so if I hate it I can just delete it. But I think how the room behind him would be is sort of like that. That up there. So you might see Would it be, or would the line be there? Oh, this is breaking my brain a little bit. Okay, let's get rid of some of this, because... So I'm just trying to think. The corner that he's going to be looking at in the mirror is kind of this corner next to Laura. Oh, I think my brain just popped. Right, okay, hang on. So, with the angle we are looking at, I think I need the floor plan open. Let's have a look. Backstage floor plan. So this is where Luke is sat. So if we're looking that way, that's kind of what we're looking at. So actually it would be the end of the sofa and a bit of a door. Going off that way. This is really hurting my brain trying to figure this out. I think it would be, and then the door is there, and then the rest of the room goes off that way. Pretty sure that's what he would see. Did I put anything the other side? I think I just made it, so it was just bobbins. Okay. So maybe some actual what they call speakery things. So actually, if that's the floor, the sofa would be. If the sofa's like that, then the line of the floor is going to be like that, then the door's going to be going up there, and this is going to be more up here. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. And if you purchase this comic when it's published and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, I'll be like, well, you should have told me when I was live streaming, then it would have made sense, and we would have been saved a lot of pain about things that don't make any sense. Let's kind of go with that. Not my finest work, but it'll do in a pinch. Okay, get rid of that. We'll keep it as its own like fiddly line worky area, but there we go. I think that gives a bit more depth to the picture, which is good. Depth is good. That poor cloud needs a little bit of work as well from a line work point of view, but I'm liking that. Save it again, just so I don't lose all that hard work I've just done. But yeah, considering when you're looking at it on a page, it's probably going to be zoomed out to about here, so there, and then there with Drunky Monkey. But yeah, that's not bad going, if I do say so myself. Right, I think I am going to pause it there for now. I need a little break. I need to go and stretch my legs. I need to go and check that my daughter is alright. And I will probably come back and do this do the next bit without a studio audience, as they say. And yeah, maybe the next time I stream, which might be tomorrow, tomorrow evening I might stream if I've not got any sort of family commitments. If not, I will be back on Thursday as usual. So have a lovely rest of the day, everybody. Bye bye for now.